Hello everybody, now I'm 1 minute early. And that's all that wants the remote. Good night everybody. I will be waiting here for you, all of you. Hello Sky, my friend, how are you? How is Bali? I'm missing Bali. Hope to be there soon. Maybe this December, I don't know. Hey Charlene, how are you? How are you? Hope you're good. And that is Guy after. Sol, the color. Hello, Ula. Hello, Ula. Well, a while ago, I wrote an article about the different kinds of visions that you can experience in ayahuasca. And today I would like to go deeper in this article, and maybe you have some questions and we can discover together what ayahuasca is showing us during the ceremonies. But meanwhile, I'm going to share the article here. If you're interested to read it later, it will be in the comments. Hello. My little one is playing there down. Hello, Magdalena. Hello, Mari. Nice to see you all, girls. Well, soon we are going to be finishing our time here in Europe, and we have the events coming in Peru, the 1-1 Dieta, and 20 days in February, that is also Dieta. And I'm going to be also working this year with Rebecca there. For the people that know Rebecca, she's a new member of my team. Also with Don Pedro. And Don Pedro is also from the Shipibo tribe, and Celia. And Don Pedro is working also more than 40 years. So we are having a new team for the diets. Celia is not new, I'm working with her for a while. But Don Pedro, I have worked with her in the past, and now we're reconnecting again. And it's nice to have him back. I'm going to be announcing that later. And also we are going to be giving more news about the foundation that we are opening in Peru, and a community that we are also opening in Peru, and many things that are happening now in different levels, different projects. I'm going to be sharing this, and I hope that will bring a lot of healing and also sharing for many people. Yes, Marie is going to be in my new land. They're finishing building there. We have, land in Lamas. I have been posting a video in my Facebook, and this place, we are building a self-sustainable community in Lamas, Peru, and this self-sustainable community is going to be taking care of a cultural center. I'm going to share the name later when we have the web pages and everything ready. And this cultural center is going to be offering different activities, not only shamanic ceremonies or things connected with the shamanic world, but many other things like yoga, meditation, conferences. And at the same time, the Medicine Woman Foundation is also going to get benefits from the community and the cultural center, so we can support social projects for children and for elder people, and also for animals. I have a little bit of a cold, so you will see me with the paper sometimes. But we are going to have a special talk for all what is going to happen in Peru. We are going to have many opportunities for people to come there as participants, as volunteers, to see what we are doing there. At the moment, there are already a few people there organizing things for our January diet, where we are going to have traditional houses to do the diet, which are, very simple buildings. And the purpose of this is to reconnect again with the basic things that we need in life. To take a time to let go of the superficiality that we are exposed every day, and to reconnect with what is important in life. So these houses are designed, just to enjoy the nature, and at the same time to spend time with you, but to be in touch with the nature. Like, we have a really open views that you can see the mountains. I'm going to share the video here. You can see some of the landscapes that we have. This in the mountains in Lamas. I don't know how high it is. I don't know. Don't remember. But I'm going to share here the video. And also the people that is collaborating with this project, they are also going to be talking here with us and sharing, sharing their vision about this project that we are building together. This is not a personal project that I have, but I can say that I am the messenger for this project, and that I'm really happy to stand for it and to be able to share it, because I know that there's a lot of people out there struggling, trying to build better societies. And I believe that the future for our spiritual, social, cultural development, holistic development, is the communities. And that's where, little by little, a lot of places and people are going back. Well, now I see that we have 15 people. I think we can start talking about what you came here for, right? I'm talking about other things now, but it was worth it to say these words for a while. I shared there the video, you can check it. Laura is asking, well, Laura, is okay to ask if you want to ask, it's not a problem. And Laura is asking me if I am vegetarian. No, I'm not vegetarian, but when I'm doing my training, or when I need to do cleaning of energies, then I am vegan. I don't eat meat at all, not even salt, not sugar. And this is part of the way of how we detox, so we are able to receive the energy from the plants. And also because when you detox, then you become more sensitive, and then you're able to connect better with the spirits. And this, we do it for a period of time. Normally, we check this with a shaman that will be in charge of the plant that will be giving us. And the spirit will say, like, to the shaman, how long a person needs to spend, like, in isolation and doing this detox. This is the dieta that I was sharing a little bit ago. Can be 15 days, can be a month, can be a year. Depends on what is the intention, depends on what the person needs also. But yeah, so I'm not really fully vegetarian, it's just sometimes I am. I do fasting sometimes. It don't look like, but I do. Once a year. Now, for the last 2 years, I have not been able because I got pregnant. And then the other year, it was some drama going on. But now this year, finally we have 2 diets, and I'm so happy to do it. I already did this year 1 month in July when Celia was coming here, and it was so good for me, and I'm really, really looking forward to do the next, because it gives me so much, like, to connect with the plants, and the time that I can spend to process the things that I have been going through, it's priceless. So let's start to talk about the visions. Well, I was sharing with you that I wrote an article. I will guide this chat or this talk today based on this article. Visions, when we talk about visions, the first thing that comes to me is, things that we can see inside of us, that are not created, by us. It's where we become more like a channel for this information that it's put in a visual way. And since the biblical times, we hear about people receiving information through visions, like Moses. Anika, do you know about the Bible? I'm here with Anika, by the way. The Bible. Oh, yeah. Moses and the fire and all that. Yeah, they say that this was through a vision that came. And also, like the Apocalypse, it was given to, I don't remember which of these guys that was with Jesus, but it was also all from a vision. And they wrote, these apostolic books from the Bible. And like that, there are, many cultures that they talk about visions. Now, the visions are, of different kind. And I noticed that a lot of people that comes to do ayahuasca, that there is kind of a misunderstanding about, or I don't mean not a misunderstanding, but a lack of information of what really are the purpose of the vision. If they are coming for the visions because the visions are going to bring the healing that they need, how important is to have visions in a ceremony, for example, because sometimes the medicine, it works in different ways, in different levels, and it's not necessarily connected with the visions. The visions is a part of the process with ayahuasca. It's one part, but it's not the main purpose. Is like one of the characteristics, of ayahuasca. If we talk, about the ayahuasca, the medicine, and when you drink it in a ceremony, if we say like it has different, properties. One of the properties is the visions, of course. The other is the purging effect. So people that has drink ayahuasca, like you have, nauseous, and then most of the times there is the relief, with the puking. Or also you go to toilet, and the people that is really, really lucky, they have it both at the same time. And those are very intense moments, the ayahuasca toilet moments, we call it. We'll have ayahuasca talk about that also. The ayahuasca toilet moments. How many of you have ayahuasca toilet moments? Okay, coming back to this, to the article that I wrote, and how present is this subject of the vision, that is not something that it has to start with the psychedelics booms that has been in the 70s. It started in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, but the ayahuasca medicine has been more than 4,000 years. The Bible, I don't know, it's very old. So a lot of people has been connecting with the spiritual world through receiving messages with visions, and the visions can be states that can be induced or not induced, for example, by plants or by a high vibration state of consciousness. Like, for example, when you go to meditation, there is also possibility that some people, they experience to have visions as well. The dancing or drumming can also induce to a like trance that can also give you some visions. So it's not only something that is connected with ayahuasca or psychedelics, or there is also the toad, this frog. It's not a frog, it's a toad that has DMT, for example, that also produce. But what I mean is that the visions is not something that is only connected with plants or with psychedelics, or or with substances in general. It's connecting with the spiritual part, and it's very important to have this clear, because For example, drugs, they give you hallucinations, and the hallucinations are very different from a vision. For me, an hallucination is something that the mind is creating that it can reflect something that is not connected at all with the reality. A vision, for example, it has, how to say, a consciousness. It has a message that will help you to see your life or life in general with different eyes, or in a different way. So that is, it's a very important thing to distinguish, because that is what makes, for example, the visions of ayahuasca to give sometimes, in some cases, information and healing. The visions in ayahuasca are also part that is very delicate, because the shamans are doing a lot of, how to say, they are preparing a lot so that they can become clear channels, so there is not confusion in what they are experiencing. And part of that experiencing is also, the vision, so they don't get confused. That's why it takes several years, before a shaman will be able to give the medicine and be able to guide the person, and that, and also for people not to be confused. That's why there is a lot of people that gets confused about the visions, like I saw this, because there is also behind the visions a meaning. We are going to talk about the different kind of visions. There is people that see animals, for example. There is people that can be in the presence of angelic beings or demons, or other planets, even, ETs. And maybe, you wonder, like, but what this has to do with ayahuasca, like angels? Or when you do ayahuasca, you're expecting to see the jaguars and the anaconda to come, or to go transport to the jungle. But no, this is one part of the kind of visions that we experience. Sol want to join. Listen. Sol wants to turn the light off. Hello, Sol. Are you taking notes? Are you taking notes? Are you learning? Are you learning? Hello. Are you learning something? Are you learning something? She likes the camera, I'm getting worried, Anika. Yeah. Okay, I will stop now at this point, and I will ask you if you want to ask any question about this subject of the visions, that we can go together from here before I'm going, to elaborate more. But I also wrote in my article that hallucination is a state in which the mind does not distinguish the boundaries between the real and what the mind fantasizes, creates, fears, or imagines. In the visionary state, there is a very clear state of the self, and at the same time of everything. This is like the awareness that we hear in many philosophies. The visionary state is when the body, the mind, the soul, and the heart are aligned with the universe, with the creator. And in this state, there is only clarity. If you are, confused in the journeys, there is very important to, to do the checking with the facilitators or the shamans that you are drinking the medicine, because then you can see, if it's your mind that is creating this experience, and then will confuse you, of course, or if it's really the medicine giving you a message, or spirits that wants to help you, or if what is happening. So it's very important to always to receive guidance when the visions appear, and that also that you're very honest, because sometimes every element can influence the meaning of a vision. Hey, Sol. Hey, bye, Sol. Bye, Sol. Bye. Bye, Sol. She was a time. Thank you, Annika. Bye, Sol. Yes, Sol. Hey, Renzo, hey, Laura. Okay, what are the visions made for? For the shamans, the purpose of having a vision, I will say, is to receive information. What kind of information? Depends. It can be information about, the healing, of the participants. It can be information about, the life of the shaman, of course, and what you need. But it's about, having more clarity in what to do, how to do, why things are happening, the way that they're happening. Like if a person comes with a problem, and let's say it's a disease that the medical system cannot find a cure or a diagnosis, so then the vision in ayahuasca will help to see what is the problem, when it's coming from. Even some shamans, they can see how like in the body, like a x-rays machine, where, are like the blockages. They can even see the organs, and they are not using any machine. I have an auntie, I was talking with her just I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, and she was telling me that when she was very young, she was healed by a shaman that gave her a plant. I will not say here the name of the plant, but this plant, it helps to open the third eye, and this plant made her to open her third eye so much that she said to me that she need to come back to the shaman because she was terrified, because she could see the people like if she is an x-ray machine. Like she said to me, every time somebody will come, I will see all their inner organs. I can see the liver, I can see the stomach, I can see the intestine, I see where is the problem, I know what they have, the spirits are telling me. And if I will, for example, because she was using tobacco, if I will use my tobacco, then I will see more about the stage of this person. So for the shamans, the visions works to give information. Now for a participant, this is different. Because a participant doesn't have yet experience about how the medicine is working, and it's not totally clear or aligned with the energy, then it can get confused, like I say, confusing. Then for a participant, this, in my opinion, will not be that important, at least that the healing is connected with specifically seeing something, or finding something. But I believe in the beginning of the journeys with ayahuasca, for a participant, what is important is to clean, is to unblock, and then later is what they see, what they can find, and also depends of the kind of healing that we are doing. If we are healing traumas, then in that cases, to go back to what happened from a higher perspective, then it will be important, for example, to experience the visual part, like to see, like I say, from a different point of view, because the medicine will take you in that way, to see from a different angle what happened, so that you can have the closure that you need, and then the trauma can be released. Because sometimes a certain kind of healing process that involves traumas, for example, what is needed is only that the soul knows, that just knowing, and that's the soul of it's showing in the video, like, yeah, Sol is here having some booby, and she's putting her hand like this. So I'm not having 3 hands, just saying. And coming back to the subject, for the participants that has traumas, and they want to release the trauma, for them it's important to come back, and to, it's not like you're reviving, is that a word? No. I don't know the word. It's not that you're going to go through the whole trauma process. Reliving, yeah, reliving. It's not like you're reliving, but you're seeing, you know, it's like your spirit is getting to know what happened. And with that, you have the closure, you know, that you need. And it's like the soul can move on. And, you know, based on that, take also decisions. Decisions that, you know, will change, of course, the life of one person. Then we have so look. I'm moving the computer because she's moving here. Sorry, people, you know, I'm a mom and we need to do the best. Either she wants to go, or she don't want to go. Within the different. I'm reading the article so I can find points that are important that I can talk. At least that you have conscious. I invite you, please, to write questions here, and we can, you know, do this together. Ah, yes. I also wrote here that sometimes, in some cases, depends. Rebecca, hello. Sometimes the visions also comes to distract you or to distract your mind from something important that needs to happen. Like once I remember I was being operated, something in my brain that was not working. I think I need again that kind of operation. But they come in the ceremony, and I was having like visions that for me it was just like really nice, but I really didn't see the point because I didn't find any like insight or wisdom or you know, anything that I can take. It was just like I don't know, like a holiday, you know. It was nice, but the relaxing. I feel good. And then when I really start to see like what's happening, I start to hear these like voices, like very, very, very occupied voices. And then I start to see careful, like next to me, and I see this one spirit that was a masculine spirit and surrendered by other female spirits, and they were dressing like doctors actually, but they have like things like leaves in the faces and flowers and this, and they were very busy in my head, and they were saying like shh, like focus, like look what we are showing you. No, don't come back here, we don't need you now, your attention here, we are taking these things that you don't need. And I saw my brain, it was flying away of my head. And they were saying, you know, to each other, bring the new brain. And it was like you know, very interesting experience. And then is when I realized that sometimes, and I also, you know, see sometimes with some participants, they come to the retreats, that sometimes the vision that comes are also, you know, just for distract you because something major is happening that you sometimes don't have to be aware, like these kind of things, you know, because maybe for some people this will be a little bit frightening. What else we have here? So it's very important that you don't get disappointed when you don't have visions with ayahuasca, because like I say, if it's your first time, for you it's more important to clear the energy, and because when you clear the energy, you will receive more, you will be more grounded, you will be more clear, and it will be easy for you to find the answers that you need for the intention that you have, either for healing, I don't know, because everybody has different how to say, priorities, you know, in what to heal. But for any healing process, the first and most important part is the cleaning. And then, you know, with that cleaning, it comes the unblocking of, you know, the energy, the chakras that we know, certain chakras. And then, is when we start to enter really more conscious to see the problems, and then to receive also, more and more knowledge or wisdom from the spirits. So for the first timer, don't get very frustrated if you don't get many visions. It comes, but again, you need to become a clear vessel so that you know what you're seeing. And also, the medicine has an intelligence, and it knows what it is doing certain things. As well, there are, for example, some work that first needs to be done. Like sometimes the body first needs to be readjust, like the energetic channel needs to be readjust, the meridians, so that you are able to have the spiritual, experience, because we are living in this human body at this moment, in this time, so it's first this vehicle, the ones that needs to be good, to the spirit, for be able to connect, and then to be connected, with our hearts, and not to, to suffer of anxiety, depression. That's how we start to hear problems. I will go back to this article that I wrote to continue with this. For the people that don't experience visions as well, it's very important to know that, for example, people, and this I know because I work with a lot of people, okay? And I do retreats almost every other week. Like, I do 3 ceremonies every week with at least 12 to 15 or 20 people every week for the last 5 years. So I have seen a lot of, cases, and I can speak knowing that marijuana, when you smoke marijuana, you block your third eye. The marijuana is the one of, if not the number one, reason for first timers for not to have visions, for example, or experience, or for their experience to be very uncomfortable. Because this is another energy that needs to be clear. And again, when you don't know how the energy work and you are doing something that you don't know, then you are messing your energy. You're exposing yourself also to other energies. And the work of the shaman, then it gets a little bit more complicated, so to speak, because first the shaman will need to clear the energy of the marijuana, and then to rearrange your channels, and then you will be able to have the ayahuasca experience. And not only marijuana can create this, but also other kind of psychedelics that are too much, because the medicine has exactly the amounts that you need. Like, for example, DMT is part of ayahuasca, and DMT is classified as a drug. But DMT in ayahuasca is not in 100% purity. 1 liter of ayahuasca contains 0.5% of DMT, which is almost nothing. It's almost what you carry in your brain. It's like ping. But when you smoke DMT, that's 100% pure, and you just appear somewhere, and it's like shooting your third eye, like boom, going somewhere. And it can take time to build it up. And I know some people that after a while, when they have been using too much this and combining with other things, they don't feel nothing anymore, like they try to do plant medicines, they don't feel anything. And then later they don't even feel the DMT or whatever they're using. So it's very important to be very careful with substances that you don't know, because it can really damage you. It can really create more problems than give you, because it's not about the experience really what we are doing, the medicinal plants. It's because it's helping us to heal things. And I would say the mission of the plants is that in the end you don't need, to use the plants as often, that you will be able to know the things for yourself. The plant wants to empower us. They don't want to make us dependent. That is the real light, you know. Only the things that are not aligned with the light, they want to slave you. They want you to be depending on. But the real spirituality is about, you know, empowering yourself. It's about freedom. It's about unconditional love. It's about, yeah, well, I can explain myself in many ways with that. I see Ula was asking, the trauma has to be both like remember and sing. Sometimes Ula just with the remembering that, you know, what happened, it's enough. But sometimes it's important to have to see from a higher perspective. I'm not saying like that you need to pass through all this, but it's like sometimes a part of the conscious has blocked this, and that blockage is what is creating the problems inside, the anxiety or, you know, problems for sleep or whatever. But once this start to unlock, then you receive the information of what happened, and then you can make a more conscious decision of what to do, you know, knowing what has happened, either forgive, to let go, or, you know, depends of what kind of trauma we are talking about. What else we have in this article? I invite you to please write your questions. We also have people that, you know, receive the visions without taking the medicine, like certain person that I know that I'm working with, that I don't want to say her name. And these, you know, visions are also information that help people to find or to guide themselves for have, you know, a better life. How I have a question here that I wrote in my article. How does the shaman access the visionary state, and who provides you with the information you need? Well, there are, you know, many different techniques to access the visionary state. But now in the case of ayahuasca, for a shaman to understand, you know, more about the visions, the dietas are a very important tool. Because it's with the dietas that the body, the physical body, and the energy, the mind, the emotions are getting clean and clear. They are aligning for the information to come. And this information we are always receiving, you know, but because we are blocked, we are not receiving the signal. It's like we are telephones without Wi-Fi. And then the plants are coming to put the Wi-Fi working, you know. You turn it on. But when we are blocked, it's like it's turned off. But it's not designed, you know, for being turned off. They're designed to be turned on and to be receiving the information that is everywhere all the time. All the time we have information surrounding us, and we have answers inside, outside. But the thing is that we are not able, you know, to connect many times. But the diets are really helping people to open and to unblock and to be able to connect with this information. So in my experience, when I was training, I remembered like for every day or month or diet that I will do, how my visions are going to get clearer and clearer and clearer, to a point like that, you know, I only need to drink like very, very little medicine, and I will be, you know, the first one just going in the process and having a very long process, and being able to see the spirits of the plants coming to speak with me and giving me the information that I need to learn from them, telling me like, you know, I'm good for this, I'm good for that, you need to prepare me like this, and so on. So, and also, you know, for other kinds of spirits to communicate with me, again, to exchange information. There is ceremonies when I have experienced the presence of angelic beings, for example, and also ceremonies when I have experienced, the visions of the demons. And in there, we are going to elaborate in a while, like how this different kind of vision works. But as I was in my training process, I was able to difference the vibrations and how they present themselves, and what I need to do when this happened, and blah blah blah. And nowadays, this kind of things happens, and people don't know what to do. And sometimes people get traumatized when they have a bad experience with the medicine, because they don't know, what's happening. Sometimes it can be that it's too much information that is coming, that there's a lot of visions coming. That's also, normal. uh, when a person is overwhelmed but many visions at the same time, is like boom 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 boom, is because you are receiving information inside of you that you don't have to understand at that precise moment, but information that you will have to use later on, and it will just activate. And at the same time that that information is coming, other information, all the information is being released. And not in all the ceremonies, one can experience all this download. It's in some ceremonies, but then, like I say, it's not important to understand all this. What is important when that happens is just to be, to not panic, to breathe, to go through the process, because it's something good that that is taking place inside. Because later you're going to suddenly know things that you didn't know, like, oh, I know this, or the answers that we say are all inside is true, and the medicine is also helping us to put even more. In Peru, there are also shamans that they work not only with ayahuasca to see, but there is also other shamans, like, for example, the tobacco shamans. And the tobacco shamans, they smoke the tobacco, and they enter also in a trance, and they also are able to see. There is an artist that they do ayahuasca paintings, also when they smoke the mapachos or the tobacco. And there is also other plant that is toe. And please, any of these plants that are sharing is safe to do alone if you don't know how to. But the toe, it's also one of the plants that are used to have visions. But the way how the shamans of toe are using, it's very different. It's not drinking the plant. You drink the plant, the toe plant, and you do the diet to do that connection with the spirit. But later, there is, a way not to drink it and to connect, because you're already connected to the spirit, to ask the spirit to provide you with the information, and then you will dream. Like in the case that, for example, something is missing, somebody is missing, or something has been stolen, there is shamans that can find, because they will see exactly, where it is, and blah blah blah. And we have plans for that. Eliska is asking, can the shaman helps to process when it's literally too much in one hint of DMTs for the user? I don't think that it's possible to help somebody smokes DMT, because I think it's way too much to be able to channel or to conduct an energy, because the person is no longer present, and it's so short that it's, I don't think it's even, a point to help someone that, is smoking DMT, because it's going to come back anyway. But you are talking about when it's what to process when it's too much. I don't know if you're meaning when you are in the experience of the DMT, or of the information that you have received. Or I don't know, Eliska, if you can elaborate this more. Alice. Oh, thank you, Alice. Alice is saying thank you for sharing your path. It really helped me to heal my relationship with cannabis. And the right time I found your blog post about it, sometimes acting as an anesthetic for the soul, and this information really helped. What about geometric visions? Early this year, I had my first Aya ceremony with Daryl Lenini, and in regards to visions, I only have one simple vision. It was something like molecules or small connections all together in a sea of fabric color. To me, this looked like an image that tells me that we are all connected individuals in a shared fabric of life. It was something like molecules or small connections. Yeah, I think maybe you saw, like, I don't know if you have seen the Shipibo blankets where they put all these. I call it like the DNA of the plants, and it looks like everything is connected. You know. Hello, Sol. Sol, don't eat paper. Hello, Sol. Say hello. I invited to Google Shipibo embroideries, and then or Shipibo Icaros, how they look like, and check maybe if it looks like that. But yes, there is the geometrical visions, and these are part of the different kind of visions. Bye, Sol, again. Bye, Sol, again. Go. Yes. Now we are going to enter to the different kinds of visions. Brandon is saying, what did you mean about the shaman can see who stole something? In general, or if someone steals at the ceremony? No, I mean in general, like if it's a situation, for example, where someone has stole something from you, it can be your wallet, it can be something important for you, and you don't know who this was. There are shamans in Peru, for example, that you can go and ask them to find, and they give you a description, they will see, and they will even tell you if you lost something, where it is. Then you can find this. Okay, different kinds of visions. We have the geometrical patterns, and normally, in my experience, I have seen that it's opening to the vibrational code of everything that exists, is all these geometrical formations. That it is like the start, is like the very basic kind of visuals that you have. It's like when you start to enter into the spirit of the things. And when these visions gets more elaborate or more profound, more spiritual, then is when you start to see, for example, the animals, or you go to the jungle in your visions, or you start to get in touch with these angelic beings, or with the demons, or with your past lives or the traumas. The visions with animals in the ayahuasca philosophy, no, philosophy, I will not say philosophy, in the ayahuasca realms, there are ways to translate what is the meaning when you see an animal and why you see it, and depends on the circumstances. Like, for example, the vision of the anaconda. Anaconda is the mother of ayahuasca. This is what many indigenous people believe, that the anaconda is the mother of the ayahuasca. And it's very common that some people, and they see this very huge anaconda coming in their visions, and sometimes people see themselves being eaten by the anaconda, or they eat the anaconda, and this means that the medicine, the spirit of the medicine, is connecting with you. And then it's also jaguars, and many other kind of beings, but everything depends of everything depends of of the context, like what you have seen, where you have been in your vision, what the animal was doing, and blah blah blah, to explain everything. The visions with angels, I say like it's a very beautiful experience to be able to see, angelic beings, or to connect with other kind of consciousness through the help of ayahuasca. Beings with high levels of consciousness that are also, living in different planes and dimensions, that are also willing to help us in our spiritual connection and evolution, and also healing. And most of them, they are, they are there because they want to connect with us, to teach us, um, or sometimes also to, to prevent us from something. Also, when I have seen these angelic beings, or beings that are, I don't know how to say, very high in their spiritual connection or evolution or energy, that they have so much light, and also in some cases so much, and to be present is so amazing. Just their presence becomes a healing experience. And it's not always that one can connect with this, but it happens, and it's very beautiful when it happens. And sometimes they also come to operate people in the ceremonies. There is also something that is very common, and this is the visions, with demonic beings, and these also are also one part that are connected with people that are experiencing bad trips. Sometimes people have sometimes people is not aware that they're carrying different kind of energies, and between these energies there is also, the demons. These are low vibrational beings, and sometimes it can enter the human body. They can enter the human body for different reasons. One, for example, alcohol, drugs, traumas, being fit from low vibrations, fears, anger. And when we are not aware that we have these energies, they are like parasites. They start to make us, feel not only emotionally, mentally bad, but also physically. It goes into the physical level as well. But also the medicine is able to help you releasing, these kind of energies. Until now, I have not seen any person that has carried entities, for example, that was not able to be helped, to release these entities. And there are also different kinds. There is not only demons, there are also parasites that looks like, literally like, parasites, worms, insects. There are also genes. There are like a whole how to say army of uh, beings that can infestate the human body as well. Not only, the physical ones like the lices and the ticks, but there is also energies that can. And also in, when you have sexual relationships, there is also a possibility there to not only exchange diseases, physical ones, but also to exchange energies. That's why when you do a dieta, for example, or when you're going to do ceremonies, it's not allowed interaction, because you are exchanging energies. So if you have sex 48 hours, you will come full of energy from other person, to heal, and then we need to clear this before going to your energy. And also when you have a ceremony, and then you are going to have you will have sex, then you're again going to mix your energy. It's like you just have a shower and then you put the same dirty clothes. So it's not. And if you're in a relationship, and if you're doing, a lot of work with plants, it's good that you also start to consider to do diets for protection, for protect your energy. Because if your partner is not a very spiritual person or very conscious person about energies, but you love the person too much, then it's good that you know how to protect yourself, so you're not receiving also, these negative energies from your partner. There is different ways to clean it also, like tobacco purge, flower baths, but also depends. I will suggest better, if you are in a relationship and your partner is not fully spiritual and aware of this, that at least you try to do diets that are for protection. And these plants are special, designed to protect your energy, from other energies to enter you or your space, Yeah. Um, there is also, visions of past life, and in my experience, I have the opportunity to have more connection with my past lives with San Pedro. San Pedro is a cactus, but also with ayahuasca. But since we're talking about, visions in general, um, there is sometimes certain things that we don't understand about ourselves until we remember again, and this remembering can be connected with the previous life. What I have noticed is that ayahuasca give me more information about what alternatives I have for my future. Like, I have seen, for example, my daughter many times. 10 years ago, I know I will have a daughter, and I have a daughter now. And like the way that she looks, it has been changing depending, of the partner I have been with, but the gender has not changed. Then, I also have seen my life in the different scenarios, depending of what's happening in the present and what are the things that I'm doing. The medicine has been telling me, like, for example, if I don't do this, this is what is going to happen to me. If I don't do this, this is what is going to happen to me. So it's also, open possibilities to see the alternative futures that we can have if, we are doing or not doing changes in our lives. So for that is also a good tool to check how we are doing in life. So that's why for people that comes in the first time, if you're not in good space in your life, is more or less possible that you're not going to have a very good experience, because you are going to experience that. You're going to feel, you're going to like mentally, physically, emotionally, feel your situation. And if you're full of fear, you're going to have that experience that is fear. And this is because you need to become aware, and you need to like fully integrate in your being, like really what you are doing with yourself, and what you're creating, so that you are able to change. Until we don't sometimes fully connect what we are doing with ourselves, not only in the mental level, but also in an emotional and physical level, and then energetical level, we don't have sometimes the discipline or the motivation to bring, the change. And this is one thing that is very good with ayahuasca, that it brings you to that awareness in the different, levels, so that you can make changes really, that will not be that difficult, because sometimes some ceremonies can be so difficult that the only thing that you do is like, okay, I will have a better life now after this. Isn't it, Anika? Or you don't have that kind of but yeah, at least I have had my ass kicked many times, and then next day I was like, yes, change starts today. Hello. And but it has been always for the good, if we take it like that. If not, also, you can't take it in a negative way. Hello, Solvior. She has never vomited in any ceremony. Why don't some of us puke? Well, some people have different ways to release. Sometimes, the best releasing is, apart from the puking, is to go to the toilet. So if you go to the toilet, that's a way of releasing also. And sometimes some people don't puke because they have a different way of transforming the energy. Like for me, sometimes I puke, sometimes I don't puke. And like I say, there is different ways of transforming the energy, and it's not always needed to puke when the purging or a cleaning it will take part. It can be also through crying. Sometimes, like, what is this? Joining? Is joining this, Anika? Yeah. Like that. I invite you to ask questions if you have any question. Burping. But no, burping is like with sound. It's joining like,
Yeah.
I burp a lot. You also, yeah, they're also burping, yeah. Yes. Are you finding this information useful, people? Writing here. I think it's the first time we are finishing an hour. If anyone has questions. Hello. Well, meanwhile, I will do an announcement. We are going to come back in February, and we are going to be in Sweden having 2 more retreats. One is going to be, how I pronounce, Kina? Kina in Sweden. It's 1 hour from Gothenburg. It's 1 hour from Gothenburg. And in Enköping, that is 1 hour from Stockholm. So I'm going to be posting this. This is in February. We're going to be back. I'm going to be posting soon this information. Nora, my purging at your ceremony was deep throat, deep breathing. They told me to do this way and cut it and throw it into the sea. Ah, yes, I remember. It was breathing. Yes, there is also, yeah. Like, for example, holotropic breathing, like, that is also, you know, good practice to release things. And yes, the breathing is a very important tool in the ceremonies also, and that's also a way of transforming the energy. The difference between purging and transforming. Yeah, well, in the purging there is a physical release, you know, of energy. In the transforming, there is not something that has become physical yet, but that is just an energy that that your body will how to say, integrate it again in a positive vibration again. I don't know how to explain that, you know, how we transform energy. But we can say, like, for example, when you're feeling bad and you go in a meditative state to shift, you know, that state, there is not a purging that, for example, there is a transformation of what is creating or what you're experiencing in that moment, from something negative from something positive. Now, if there is something that that is stuck there and cannot be transformed, but all the energies are transformed, you know. That when you purge, you're also transforming that energy, but you're also, you know, expulsing it out. But I believe that the energies that cannot be transformed inside of the body, they are being you know, they are being purged out of the body. They transform in puke. Sol is here again. Alice, is that good answer? What else I can say? The difference between purging and transforming. Well, you know, the transforming, I think it can be I don't know, because the purging also can take a little bit long, you know. Talking about timing, sometimes people has hard time in, you know, releasing physically rather than transforming an energy, but also can be the opposite. Like some people can have a difficult transforming energy rather than purging it, you know, out of the body. And also both are happening simultaneously, you know, the purging and also the transforming. Give me, baby. Ula is asking if we are having a 12-day dieta in Sweden next year. Yes, we are looking for a venue. So if somebody knows about the venue for a diet in Sweden, we are more than happy. But I already have one, but we need to check the dates. But we will have one, yes. And also in Hungary and also in Italy, we are going to have one. And in Switzerland, Switzerland is already confirmed and booked. We are going to be posting soon. And in Peru, we are also going to start having 12-day dietas every month from April with Celia and Don Pedro in charge of that places. And Celia and Don Pedro are also going to be joining us here in Europe. when they come. Don Pedro is working 40 years with the medicine. I have been working with him before, but then our paths separate. But now we're reuniting again. And Celia, I'm working with her the last 5 years, and all my diets I do with her as well from this part, from the last 5 years, and then really good. She has been already here in Europe this year, and we have really good experiences. You can check our testimonies also about the Dietas in Retreat Guru. I will post it here maybe. And you can check in our page taitainti.com the calendar, or in my blog naisha.blog. If you want, I think you can subscribe to my blog and then you can receive information when we update the calendar. At the moment it's only until February, but yeah, I'm going to post my blog here in the comments and also the page. There. And we are going to be posting also in our Facebook page, Taita Inti, hearing ayahuasca talks in my page. So you will receive somehow if you want people to know more about the diets. But I think that, you know, part of the ayahuasca, it's a very important part, because I believe now that ayahuasca has become very popular in Europe. Now the diets are very important for help the people to continue with their processes and to go deeper, you know, because I also have seen people can spend years and years of drinking the medicine and they are not moving nowhere. But when they do the dietas, that's a different, because then you start to open things that are not possible sometimes to do it, you know, in a normal ceremony, because the diet brings you to very uncomfortable places inside and outside of yourself. And sometimes we need to be out of our comfort zone that we are able to see these things. If we are not out of that zone, you know, then transformation and change will not come really. You can have like big realizations in ayahuasca and receive, you know, important messages that will help you, yes, to transform your life. But for a very deep transformation, you know, things need to come really, you know, to the surface, and that you need to look each one by one, that, you know, that you can heal these issues as well. Well, thank you so much. I don't know if we have more questions, and I invite you in YouTube. I have a channel, and you can check more ayahuasca talks that I'm doing. I have been doing the ayahuasca talks for the last 3 years, so there is some videos already that are there. I didn't open the ayahuasca talks YouTube channel yet, but we are going to do. There's a lot of new things that are going to come, but you can check if you want, if you like these talks, if you want to learn more. There are, you know, different kind of talks that you can find there in YouTube. I would share here also the link if you're interested. Until the next time, and let us know if you want anything for the next talk. If you have in mind anything, I always say we are going to ask some questions, but I always forget that we're going to ask what it will be the next talk that you would like to hear. Jason. Bali, yes, we're coming back to Bali also, Sky. We are going to do a diet in Bali, yes. We are all going to organize. Somehow we are going to do this. And we will do it. Bali, Bali, Bali. Very good. If you don't have more questions, then I go. And thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to upload the video on YouTube also and share it. And bye-bye and good night. And drink your milk. No, she needs to drink milk. Bye.